What if your addiction isn't your enemy, but your soul trying to scream through the noise? Maybe it's not about weakness. Maybe it's not about failure. Maybe, just maybe, what's breaking you is actually trying to wake you. Before we go deeper, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video if these words echo something inside you. Your comment might be the lifeline someone else needed today. Let's create a space for honesty, for pain, and for transformation. Because today, we're not talking about addiction as a chemical trap or a moral flaw. We're diving into it as a spiritual initiation. A moment where the human psyche, cornered and bleeding, either collapses or cracks open to something greater. You see, the addict isn't just chasing a substance. They're chasing a feeling they once had, or never had. An echo of connection. A glimpse of God. Carl Jung called addiction a low-grade spiritual thirst. And Gabor Maté reminds us, don't ask why the addiction, ask why the pain. But pain is a strange prophet. It doesn't knock. It breaks doors. And when the soul has been silenced for too long, it doesn't whisper. It shouts through compulsions. It floods through crisis. It strips you down until you stand raw, unmasked, and terrified. And for the first time in your life, completely awake. But what if what you've called failure was never failure? What if it was your soul's rebellion? Your unconscious rising like a storm, begging you to stop, to feel, to remember. Because maybe hitting rock bottom isn't the end. Maybe it's where the ground stops lying. And just maybe, beneath the wreckage, you'll find the seed of your becoming. Why do we sabotage the very thing we crave the most? Why do we run from silence, as if it might devour us? The truth is unsettling, because silence knows too much. And deep down, we fear what it might reveal. Carl Jung once said, no one becomes enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. We are not just beings of light, we are contradictions walking on two legs. We desire intimacy, yet fear vulnerability. We long for meaning, yet cling to distractions. Inside each of us, a war rages, between the self we show and the shadow we hide. And addiction, whether to substances, to chaos, to people, is often a way of protecting ourselves from a truth we believe we cannot survive. Friedrich Nietzsche urged, become who you are. But how can we become what we've buried? From childhood, we are taught which parts of ourselves are acceptable and which are dangerous. So we fragment. We exile our pain, our rage, our unmet needs to the basement of our psyche, and then spend a lifetime tripping over the furniture upstairs. Our behaviors, our relationships, even our self-image, are shaped by ghosts we've never met. The addict, then, is not weak, they are overwhelmed by forces within that have never been seen, never been heard, never been held with compassion. And so we repeat. We repeat because repetition is familiar. We sabotage joy because joy feels foreign. We flee the present moment because the present moment holds a mirror, and the reflection is too raw, too naked, too real. But the tragedy isn't that we are lost. The tragedy is that we keep looking for the map outside, when the territory has always been within. The unconscious does not ask for perfection, it asks for integration. Until we turn inward and reckon with the patterns that govern us from the shadows, we are not truly free. But what if facing that shadow isn't the end of you? What if it's where you begin, again, this time, with your eyes open? Have you ever stopped to ask where your cravings, your fears, your repeated failures really come from? Not from the world outside, but from a labyrinth inside you, twisted corridors built from forgotten wounds, whispered lies, and silent screams. What if the monster you fight every day is not an external enemy, but a reflection in your own broken mirror? Sometimes what you call destiny is nothing more than trauma on repeat, unseen, unheard, and unhealed. We inherit stories that shape us long before we can understand them. The voices of our childhood echo in the choices we make as adults, in the masks we wear to hide the pain no one taught us how to feel. Your addiction, your self-sabotage, your paralysis, these are not failures of character but echoes of a soul that hasn't been met with kindness. Carl Jung called this the shadow, the parts of ourselves we refuse to see, the pain we refuse to feel. Gabor Maté, with profound simplicity, named it undigested pain. We carry it like ballast, and it steers our lives in ways we barely notice. The need to numb, to escape, to control, these are desperate attempts to silence what lives inside us, not outside. The question is, will you keep running from this inner darkness? Or will you finally sit with it, stare into it, and learn its language? Because true awakening isn't about chasing light, it's about owning your shadow. And only then can the transformation begin. Transformation never arrives wrapped in miracles or quick fixes. It shows up in the quiet moments when you dare to face yourself, completely, without masks or excuses. This is the path of self-knowledge, a brave journey into the depths where your true wounds and your hidden strengths reside side by side. To change, you must first accept responsibility, not as a burden, but as a powerful act of reclaiming your life. The addict's awakening begins when the fight against the shadow softens into a compassionate gaze. When you stop running from your pain and instead invite it in, you discover it's not a monster to be defeated, but a messenger to be understood. There is no magic formula here. No instant cure or perfect blueprint. But there is consciousness, the steady flame that burns away illusion and reveals the patterns once invisible. Carl Jung taught that healing is not about banishing the darkness, but about bringing it into the light, integrating it into the whole of who you are. Remember this, change doesn't happen when you punish yourself, it happens when you recognize yourself. This recognition is the birth of freedom. It is the moment when the chains you never knew you carried begin to fall away, and you realize the power was inside you all along. And from that profound recognition comes the true awakening, the one that transforms addiction, despair, and silence into a new life filled with meaning, courage, and light. The journey we've explored isn't about quick answers or neat endings. It's a vast, open question, an invitation to look deeper, to sit with the uncomfortable shadows that live inside all of us. Philosophers and psychologists alike remind us that true transformation begins not when we find the light, but when we embrace the darkness that has always been part of our story. Today, I invite you to become an observer of yourself. Notice the moments you reach for distraction, the times fear whispers louder than hope, the silences that feel too heavy to bear. Watch your reactions, not to judge, but to understand. You might be surprised at what your unconscious is trying to show you, if only you stop to listen. Are you ready to stop running from yourself? To face your silence and realize it speaks louder than any words? If this message resonated with you, please like, comment, and share this video. Your engagement helps us reach more souls walking this path, searching for light in their own shadows. And if you're ready to go even deeper, watch the video now appearing on your screen. It just might be the insight your soul has been waiting for today.